If you ever take a look at the all-time scoring list, you will quickly see that one thing becomes very apparent. That being that the vast majority of them are either centers or forwards who are at least the heights of 6'6" at the shortest. It's not until you reach the 30s on the all-time scoring list do you even see players like Steph Curry or Allen Iverson, notorious shorter players that can fill up the box score easily. And then out of curiosity, I saw the ABA's all-time scoring list, and the number one option was not who I expected it to be. That league's all-time scorer is a 6-foot tall point guard who shot a career 35% from behind the line. What's good, family? It's your favorite cousin CJ, aka the basketball historian. And today we're taking a look at Louie Dampier, a man whose game was so far ahead of its time that you might even think that he was a time traveler with the way he played the game of basketball. Oh, you don't believe me? Don't worry, I got the facts and the numbers right here. Louie Dampier was a 6-foot tall, 170-pound point guard drafted with the 38th overall pick in the 1967 NBA draft. He played 12 years of professional basketball, with 9 of those years being in the ABA and 3 of those being in the NBA at the tail end of his career. And in that time, he has played in 960 documented games, in which he was able to build himself quite the impressive resume, as he was a 7-time All-Star, 4-time member of the All-ABA team, a champion in 1975, and not only is he the point scoring leader of the league, he's also the assist leader of that league. So just by looking at his accolades, you can see that he was in fact a phenomenal player. He could score the ball and he can assist the ball at a very high level. But let's take a look at his numbers and see what he was doing on a game-to-game basis. Louie Dampier started his professional basketball career in 1967 as a member of the Kentucky Colonels, and his rookie season was going to be one to remember, as he would average 20 points, 3.5 assists, and around 4.5 rebounds while shooting 43% from the field and only 27% from 3. His play was so good that not only did it make him a member of the All-Star team, he actually made the All-ABA team in his rookie year with those numbers. But that's not even where his rookie year ends, as his team actually made it to the playoffs. Even though they lost in the first round, it was a 5-game series, and in those 5 games, he was not going out without a fight. He erupted in that series for 26.5 points, 4.5 assists, 4 rebounds. Even though he only shot 44% from the field, he shot 40% from behind the line on 7 threes a game. So to say that he was just a shooter would be an understatement. 40% from behind the line, back in that league, the highest it ever got for the entire league was 29%, and he shot 40. That marksmanship would be something that his coaches would encourage him to show, as over the next 2 seasons he would shoot an average of 6.5 threes a game while averaging 36% behind the line. In those 2 seasons, he would shoot over 500 3-pointers in both. For comparison, world-renowned shooter Kyle Korver, his most 3-pointers he ever shot in a year was 499. So some person back in the 70s, who I promise you never heard of, has smashed that record before 3-pointers was even cool. And when looking at the footage, you can see it doesn't matter what type of shot it is. Catch and shoot, stand still, on the run, by screens, off the dribble. He could hit any shot imaginable that any guard in the league nowadays can hit. And at no point did he show that more than when he was in his prime. But before we get into all that, I just want to say that if you're enjoying the video so far, please make sure to like, comment, and or subscribe. It really helps me and the channel, and it really makes me know that you guys like this content. So please make sure to do all that. Alright, thank you. Now, since Louie Dampier entered the league at 23, you can kind of already consider him being in his prime, because around that time is when someone around the age of like 18, 19, 20 will be hitting their first levels of their prime. So he kind of came into the league in his prime, but that's besides the point, because they don't make these stats any less special, because in his prime he averaged 19.5 points, 5.5 assists with around 3.5 rebounds, while shooting 43% from the field and 36% from behind the line. And in the playoffs, the one thing you would hate is for a player not to do what they've been doing all year. Only the all-time greats can really elevate their game during the postseason, but what you really need is people to do the same thing that got them to that position, and that is exactly what Louie Dampier did. Because even in the playoffs, even when teams have time to scout against you, know what you've been doing all season, he still put up his averages. While yeah, his points went down from 19.5 to closer to 17, his assists went up from 5.5 to 6.5, while still giving you those 3 rebounds a game, shooting the same percentage from the field and behind the line. And even though if those assist numbers don't scream point guard, they don't scream all-time great, floor general, he was still able to get it to his teammates in spots where they could succeed. He has led the playoffs in assists per game twice in his career. The first time he did it for 9.5 assists, the second time was for 7.5. So he had some pretty good court vision and awareness in order to get those 9.5, 7.5 assists, even though he couldn't sustain it for majority parts of his career. And you better not think he was a cone on defense either, because even though his size probably made it hard for him to guard multiple people, he could still rip the ball away from you. While it is unfortunate that they wasn't keeping track of steals throughout his whole playing career, near the end when he was around 29-30, they started keeping track and he was averaging 1.9, 0.8 steals a game around the end of his career. So by comparison, we can safely assume that earlier in his career, when he had more energy, more spark on that defensive end, that he was going to be averaging like 1.3, 1.5, maybe a season with 1.7, 1.8 steals. So he could defend, or at the very least cause turnovers for the other team. And the 1 year where he put it all together, he put all his tools and personnel to the fullest power that he had in order to win a championship in the ABA in 1975. That season, he averaged 16.8 points, around 5.5 assists with 2.5 rebounds, while shooting 50% from the field and 39% from behind the line. That, coupled with the fact that he also dropped his turnovers from around 2.5 per game to closer to 1.5 per game. So not only is he playing some of the most efficient basketball on the offensive end in terms of putting the ball into the basket, he's also making sure that he doesn't have as much wasted possessions as he's not turning the ball over anymore. And then when it came around that time for the playoffs to start happening, King Louie did not disappoint. All his stats and percentages stayed relatively the same to his regular season performances, except for one key detail. His assists per game went up from 5.5 to 7.5 as he showed off that remarkable passing ability that we seen earlier in his career. So not only was he a great distributor of a basketball as his playmaking abilities were next level, he was a comparable defender as you could not target him or else he will steal the ball from you. He was a clutch player as his teammates would notably look for him to shoot that jump shot of his. He is, in fact, without a single shadow of a doubt, the original 3-point king. He shot a lot and he made a lot. What makes him stand out from the other people that might have been good back in his era, because he never really led the league of 3-point percentage. But what separates him from them is that not only is he a great 3-point shooter, he again led the league in all-time scoring. And if that don't make you a king, then I don't really know what does. And with all that being said, that's all I got for y'all on this one. Make sure to like, comment, and or subscribe if you haven't already. Shout out to all the new followers and subscribers, all the new commenters, and I see y'all down there. Thank you guys so much for showing support for the channel and for the history of the game. And if you somehow made it all the way to the end of this 9-minute video, I didn't want it to be that long, but if you somehow made it all the way here, let me get a King Louie down in the comment section so I know you a real one. It's been your favorite cousin CJ, aka the basketball historian, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Y'all boys stay safe out there, alright? Peace, peace. I draw it up and execute, I need a coaching job.
job. I'm the type to help my man score, I'm finna throw the lob. These niggas ain't touching pape, they just broken lost. In the 300, it bends the earth like I train with Todd. Historic run, not for real, I'm on a global tear. Probably think I got the game rigged, I never played it fair.